So we'll start going along a path which is called the Upper Icknield Way, which is prehistoric. That means it predates. The next day is a bank holiday in the UK, which means it's a free day. People don't work on those days unless you're in the shop or something like that. And I understand you're going to Stonehenge and Bath. Is it just Stonehenge and Bath?
No, it's Stonehenge.
Stonehenge. And then you'll be back in town, and I'll either come with you on that trip or I'll meet up with you guys that evening. The rest of the week, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, is somewhat flexible. The one thing we do know is that on the Wednesday, you're doing a site visit in the morning, and we have that set, and we're going to try and do some cultural event in the evening. The Tuesday and the Thursday and the Friday days will be somewhat weather dependent. So we will do the 2 walks on those days. And I'll tell you now, the British weather is very difficult to predict this far out. It's very difficult to predict a day out. But we'll look at the weather forecast. The plan is that if it's going to be sunny on Thursday, we'll do the country walk. And we'll do the London walk on Tuesday. If it's pouring with rain on Tuesday and Thursday, we'll still probably do the London walk on those days, because you can walk in London when it's raining. You can't go out in the countryside and go for a walk because it's just so wet and miserable, you just won't enjoy it. So we're going to be a little bit flexible on those days. So don't plan anything on that Friday to travel, because we might have to use that Friday day to do the country walk. That's just the way it goes. We're very weather dependent on these. And I think you'll get a lot out of the country walk. That's why we don't want to sort of sacrifice it to the weather if we can go on one of the other days. But I want to show you the London walk and the country walk to show you what we're going to be doing on those days. Do the London walk first, because that's a good start. The reason that we've done this historically in the past when we've done study abroad is it's a good way of introducing you to the City of London, because the City of London is all about the river. So we tend to spend a lot of time going along the River Thames. Sorry, I'm going to have to shut up on that one. It's the easiest one that I can see. But that's good. We're staying, if you could just zoom out a little bit, someone. We're going to be staying up where that green dot is. Actually, it's up here. We're sort of north of the main west end of the city. If you think about this is the City of London, what they call the West End, where all the theatres and stuff is around here. And this is the tower. Anything to the east is called the East End of London. This is traditionally called the sort of South Bank area, because it's the South Bank of the Thames. But we're going to be staying up here in an area that historically is called Bloomsbury. It's just south of the main railway lines. What we will do on the day that we do it is we'll get a tube down to Parliament Square. We'll go to Westminster Station. We'll start by going around the square, which is called Parliament Square. You will be agog of what you can see there. You will see the Houses of Parliament, the clock tower, which you commonly know as called Big Ben. You'll probably take 100 photographs just going around the square. This is Westminster Abbey. Very famous Abbey. I can't remember if that was where Princess Kate. It was where Princess Kate and what's his name, William, got married. The Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors, which is somewhere that we used to go to on a visit, is just off of here. If you went up here, you'd see Trafalgar Square. You'll be able to see Nelson's Column from here. If you went up here, you'd be able to go see Buckingham Palace. So we'll start off with the House of Parliament. We'll cross Westminster Bridge, and we'll start our walk along the South Bank. The first building that we'll see is now the Saatchi museum, and I think there's an aquarium there, but it used to be the civic offices of the County of London, the General London Council office. It's called County Hall. So we'll go along there. You'll see a lot of tourists walking along here. There'll be a lot of those performance artists, you know, those people that stand still and stuff like that. Did anyone see that video where that guy whacked? I watched it in the airport last night. Some performance artist, some guy was blown in his ear. The first site that you need to pay special attention to, and I think you're going to be given a booklet or a link to a booklet, is what's called the South Bank Complex. This is 3 buildings: the Royal Festival Hall, the Queen Elizabeth Hall, and the National Theatre. They're these huge 1960s and 1970s concrete structures. This was a major development at the time, and a year ago a group of researchers did a study of how those buildings were built, and they interviewed a lot of the workers. And you're going to get a little booklet that I'd like you to read beforehand and tell you a little bit more about that project. We'll continue walking along. There's some real interesting redevelopment work along here. The Oxo Tower, which used to be an old industrial building, is now some high-end apartments and stuff. This is all public accessible park along here. We'll get to the Millennium Bridge. From there, we'll be able to zoom out a little bit, Simon. Zoom out. You'll have a straight view across the Millennium Bridge to just one little bit more to St Paul's Cathedral. And we'll usually walk across that, but this time we won't. We're going to sort of more circular route. If we have time, we'll just nip in and let you have a look at the Tate Modern building. I don't think you'll be interested in the exhibits there. It's all modern art, unless you're a huge modern art buff. But what's really interesting is, from a construction point of view, it's a former coal-fired power station that they converted into an art gallery. And the space, the big open space in the middle of it, is spectacular. It's just great to go into. And it's free, we don't have to pay. So we can wander in there. Then we'll walk past. The blue building is the New Globe Theatre. It's the only thatched building in the centre of London. It was rebuilt about 20 years ago. We'll keep walking along the South Bank. We'll make a little inroad because that's the way that the Thames Path goes. That goes past Southwark Cathedral. And Southwark Cathedral is really interesting because you'll see it when you get there. The construction material is a material called flint, and you won't see many buildings in London built out of flint, but when we go and do the country walk, you'll see a lot of buildings built out of that, so that's quite an interesting building to see. We'll carry on walking along the South Bank. We'll go past City Hall, which is where the Mayor of London lives. There's some nice green space here. This will probably be around lunchtime. There's also down here a whole load of little cafes and stuff. If we've not picked up some sandwiches by then, we'll be able to pick up some sandwiches and eat there. This is Tower Bridge. You all know what Tower Bridge looks like. It's whenever you see a picture of London, it's that bridge. So you probably want to take a bunch of pictures. We'll then go across. This is the Tower of London. We'll walk by there, getting great photographing opportunities. We'll then start to meander through the City of London. This is a big financial district.